Have you heard of AMP emails? Or maybe you already received one and you didn't even know it was an AMP email. Well, AMP emails are interactive emails. That means that when we receive an email, we can interact with it inside of the inbox. So if there's a form in it, if there's a survey, if there's a Google Calendar scheduler, we can do it from inside of the email. Now, traditionally, we would click on a link or a button. It'll take us to a website where we fill out everything that we need to do. In this case, it's done inside of the email, which is pretty cool. Now, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. The service that I'm talking about that provides us the AMP email possibility is Mailmodal, and I'm going to show you how it works right now. So let me jump into my Mailmodal dashboard, and this is it. Let's get started with the most important part. How do we build these AMP emails, and is it HTML possible also? And yes, it is, but let me show you. So in the template section, we're gonna head on over to create a new template, and I'm going to show you the power of Mailmodal. For example, let's go check this out, appointment booking system. So inside of the email, people are gonna be able to fill this out. For example, preferred options, the checkup, we'll go into next step. We can select the date for this, for example, the 20th, and the hour that we want to select for this, and we can go ahead and submit it. We've just created an appointment from inside of the email without having to go to a website. So that's pretty cool, right? Now there's a bunch of things that we can do. We can even do recommendations for this. There's like a store type section. All this is available. And that's what makes it really interesting, that AMP is actually interactive. Another cool one that I saw was this one, spin and win. There's like a spinner inside of this and we can click on it and it's going to spin, and I'll click stop and boom, you just won 1,000 rupees, in this case, RS. But this is really cool. We can do all of this. Now, let's go ahead and choose one of these just for testing purposes. And I like this one. I'll use the template. It's clean and modern. So this is how you're going to build the AMP email if we use the template. Now there's two versions to this. It's the AMP section, here on the top you can see that, and there's the fallback. What does that mean? Well, some of the email clients don't receive AMP emails, and in those cases we're gonna use the traditional email builder type, which is the fallback version. So we can build the AMP or we can build the fallback. Let's start with the AMP. So in the AMP, each one of these sections is from the template that we chose, and we can edit everything from here. On the right, we have the settings for each one of the elements that we click on. So if I click on different elements, we're gonna get different settings on the right. Now this one has a form builder for the Zoom meeting form. So that's what this one is. Now there's all these elements available. Then again, we can go ahead and edit this and check the settings on the right, make sure that everything is fine. And if you're good to go, you go ahead and go into the next step. Now, what if we want to add something to this or build our own? Well, each time that we click on these elements, on the right, there's a little plus button. We can move these around, we can clone it, and we can delete it. But if we want to add a new block, we just click on it and it's going to give us all the settings. So we have layouts available, basic elements, form elements, widgets, pre-made blocks, and my blocks. So let's go into widgets, we'll go into more, and I'll show you more options that they have available. So if you want to connect to Zoom webinar registration, so from right inside of the email, they're able to register for the Zoom meeting or Calendly or shopping cart abandonment, shopping cart product recommendation, a poll, a live price ticker, NPS rating, star rating, calendar from Google Widgets, image carousel, and all of that. I mean, this is really, really interesting in my personal perspective, because I think this is the way that email clients are gonna be heading to. And these guys already have a head start because they are already building with AMP emails. There's also form available, blocks right here. So all these are available right there. The form blocks have different elements already available here to just select and bring them inside. So we can just go ahead and choose it and bring it inside. Obviously we don't want to use it inside of here, so we'll go ahead and delete it for now because we already have one of these available, okay? So all of these settings, like I said, they're customized. We can go ahead and edit everything that we need and it's good to go. Now for the fallback, same thing goes. This is what we have for the fallback, and we can go ahead and edit the email for the fallback for the email clients that don't receive AMP emails. And again, we can go ahead and add elements that we might need for this particular type of fallback email, which is HTML, okay? Now, once you've built it, you're good to go. Well, we can go ahead and form submission to external apps. So if we want to connect it, we can do so here. If you want to get some template suggestions, we can click on this one and we'll get some suggestions to add here. And we can save this, preview this, or send a test email, or send a campaign from here. In this case, I'm not gonna save it because this is just for testing purposes. But once you build them, you can have them right here. Now, let's send the test email to see how that works. So let me go ahead and send this one out. Let me go ahead and create a campaign. Let's go to campaign, create a new one. I'll select this one that I have already, or I can upload a template. Go to next, and this is where you would set your campaign name, for example, to locate it later on easily. So I'll just say test amp. That's going to be my subject. We'll say test here, and we're going to send it to this one. The reply to email would be this one. And when you add your sender emails, which I'll show you in a bit, you'll have them available here. Now, in this case, I'll use the default one for testing purposes. I'll go next. I'll send it to my test email. Go next. And this is going to grab the variables from the email builder, which we can use. We can personalize those. We can go next, and we're good to go. Let's go ahead and schedule. We can send it out right now, schedule it for a specific time, or send in batches of regular intervals. In this case, I'll send it out now. Okay, so let me show you how it's going to look on my email client. Okay, so here's the email that I've just sent out, a test email. Now you're going to see that I'm able to hover over this, and this is interactive. Like I said, so for example, this is an NSP survey. So if I click on 9, it's going to select it. Do you like the product? Yes. For example, overall, how satisfied or dissatisfied are you with our company? So in this case, I'm happy, and I'll go ahead and submit it next. So which features of ours would you recommend the most? So AMP emails, I'm going to say, just winging it here. High quality, submitted, and boom, it's been submitted, all right? Right from inside of the email. That's the beauty about AMP emails. That's what makes it different and unique in Mailmotto. So in this case, I don't have to jump into another service to do this. I can do it from here. And that makes it more interesting for the user also, because it could say, you know what? It's cool. I can fill it out from here. I've seen other surveys where you click on, for example, you'll have the 1 to 10 scale. And when you click on, I don't know, 8, it jumps into the link. So that's what it's going to do. It's not going to actually fill it out in the email. And this one makes it even better because you do it from inside of the email. That's what makes it best of all, right? So here you have the analytics for the email. You got your basic dashboard here with all the information, top email clients, link performance, where they opened by AMP or HTML. So like I said, from the email clients that don't receive AMP emails, you'll see the information here. Okay, you got your summary, your user data, your submissions, your insights, and all that good information, okay? Next we have is transactional. If you want to use your platform to automate emails in Mailmotto, you can do so here, connecting to platforms that you already use. For example, if you're using Facebook lead ads, we'll connect that to Mailmotto to automatically send out emails, webhooks, REST API, and all of these are available. You also have the integration settings over here. For example, the integrations, you have the webhooks, Zapier, Calendly. Basically, with webhooks, you can connect practically to anything. I mean, if you have Padlet Connect, if you have Zapier, you have Integromat, if you have Make, etc. With webhooks, you're going to be able to connect this platform to do a bunch of stuff, all right? Now, next thing is the journey, which is automations, all right? So I'm going to create a journey, and this lets me automate things. So for example, the first thing that I'm going to be asked for is the trigger. What is going to trigger this specific automation? So there's triggers on the right. We can set it for specific contacts added to a list. I think this one would be one of the most interesting ones, and also form submission. But in this case, contact added to a list. So if I have an automation somewhere else, now if I have a WooCommerce store, my Shopify, my Wix or whatever, and I sold something, I'm going to automate it to add the contact here automatically into a specific list. For example, my shoppers, my members, my fans, etc. So I'm going to add it to a list. I'm going to select the list. I'll say my test email, right? Trigger journey for existing contacts in the list. In this case, if you want to send out to the contacts that you have already, you can click on this one. If not, it'll only be sent to the new contacts. So that's going to be the trigger. So I mean, it's pretty cool because if we have something automated, it's going to automatically trigger this. Now, the thing that I would recommend next we have the actions here. But I would recommend adding a delay because you don't want to send out an automatic email in case you want to do so, but you can, okay? You can wait for time period. So let me drag this in. I can go ahead and connect it here, and I click on it, and I'm going to get the settings on the right. So for example, I could say wait 5, and I'll say minutes, hours, or days. In this case, days. So for example, if I sold something on Wix and I want to send out an email for the survey, well, I'm going to wait 5 days to send out this email. I don't want to send it right away because maybe they need to test the product first. And it's just an example, okay? Next, we have other actions, a bunch of them. Send a campaign, add webhooks to connect more automations, add contacts to a list, remove contacts from the list, update context property. There's several of these. There's even conditions to this. Like if it's open, we can do more with these things for its conditions. For example, I'll drag in open. So for example, wait a time period. Well, I would need to send out a campaign first. So here it is, send out a campaign. Let's go ahead and connect it. Click on this one for the settings. Campaign name is going to be test. The subject line, whatever. I'm just going to wig it, okay? I'm not going to fill it out right now. I won't waste your time. So you select the campaign, and then we'll have a condition here. So if they opened the email, we'll send out this campaign. And if they didn't open the email, we'll send out this campaign. So here we go. Connect this one to this. Connect this one to that. Or another example would be I'll get rid of this one. If they opened it up, we'll delete it. So let me go ahead and delete this. And what am I doing now? That if they didn't open the email, it's going to send out the email. But if they did open it, it's not going to do anything else. Or you can add the email campaign to it. So you kind of see what the flexibility is of the automation. You can go really advanced with this. If they clicked on something, if they submitted, if they contact property, list segment membership, and all of that is available when you start building these automations to make something really simple or really complex, like a more advanced automation. But it's pretty cool that we have this journey automation system. I'm not going to save it because this is just for testing purposes. Next, we have the contacts. So in the contact section, we're able to create a segment or add contacts. Several options are available, like importing from a CSV if you're moving away from another email marketing platform, or if you have an email list from somewhere else, you can bring it in here with CSV or add them manually. Import from apps, add through API, so there's API access for more advanced users, and add through MailChimp, which is a direct integration. So the last thing that I want to show you is adding emails. So in the settings, we have to add a new sender. For the senders of AMP emails, you need a AMP registration. So let me show you that really quickly. I'll just add something here, some random one, and I'm going to use Mailmotto as my delivery service for the SMTP. And this is the registration part, okay? So this is the information. I'll go next, and it's going to ask me the product details for this specific email. So they value this and verify your email. Once it's verified, you're able to send out the AMP emails with that. So right now it's waiting the domain authentication and the AMP registration. I already have one waiting for this, so that's in process. That's how you would add the email senders here. But that is Mailmotto. That is how you're going to be able to send out AMP emails. Like you said, maybe you already received one of these emails and you were like, how the heck did they do that? Because my email service provider doesn't do that. Well, they probably use something like this, Mailmotto. But if you want to check it out, I will be leaving the link in the description. And that's a wrap.